I'd like to call to order the Columbia County Board of Commissioners meeting for, pray for us.
Yes, please bow your heads with me. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for the freedoms we have, including the right to assemble and to govern ourselves. Be with us today as we make decisions that are important to our neighbors and our community. Some of these decisions are not easy, Lord, but please be with us and help us to make these decisions and guide our votes, that we make our decisions in fairness and in truth. In your name we pray, amen.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Republic for which
One nation.
God.
Well, we have a quorum tonight with 4 members present. Motion to approve the previous meeting minutes, and we'll do both the public hearing and meeting minutes, same.
Motion to approve the May 4th commission meeting minutes as well as the budget public hearing minutes.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes 4-0. Mr. Johnson,
Mr. Chairman, for your consideration, we asked him to remove one item, item H1D, that's juvenile court independent contractor agreements. We're still working on those agreements, so we'd ask those be stricken from the agenda, and we're prepared to move on.
that is then agenda.
That is correct.
Would we, consent agenda, and these items have been through committee and received votes to move forward to consent. All are in favor with those, with removing the juvenile court agreements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. 4-0. On business, and that is my motion. I make a motion to approve the second reading of 21-12 Bartram Trail, Section 10, Phase 2, SLD 416J, 21-13 Crawford Creek South, Phase 8, SLD 508B.
Second.
21-14 Highland Lake, Section 1, SLD 528. 21-15 Highland Lake, Section 2, SLD 528B. 1-16 Wrights Farm, Phase 1, SLD 529, to establish streetlight districts, authorize Georgia Power to proceed with installation.
A second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Go. To the next item, and if you could, I'd like to call the applicant up before we make the motion. We got Tanya.
You can come on up if you're the applicant for that.
Hello?
Hello, it's Bonnie Lord.
Thank you for coming. If you would just give us a real quick update. Through back in 2017, and you wanted to do multiple things. Clinic, office, and crematory, and a cemetery, and like.
Well, when we filed it, we were told to file any future use on it as well. So that's why everything was put on. Crematory is not going to be a fact because there's no gas lines on the road. Or if you can't burn it. That's kind of, and same with the cemetery, they kind of go hand in hand.
So, this time that is on the back burner, and Or not on the burner, because we don't have gas. Okay, so those couple of items are not in your plans at this time.
No,
Is that something you would waive as a condition and bring that back later if decided to do that later?
absolutely.
And I think the deputy has lived on that property for many, many years, long before you purchased it. Is that
Yes, sir.
think does anybody else have any?
My memory's fading, along with other things. I seem to remember when the original application was made, you mentioned that you had a facility in South Augusta that was already doing crematory.
It's in Richmond County, but
In Richmond County, yes?
right off Jimmy Dias,
Okay,
not in South Augusta.
okay, so you already have an option
I have a
present to, okay,
farm.
all right.
No other questions? Get a motion?
Sir, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the request for a change of conditions and measure revision for property located at tax map 0500060 to remove the condition from RZ 170904 that required the existing residential rental property to expire 60 days after the owner receives a certificate of occupancy and revise hours of operations for the business. Also, in addition, to add the conditions, since the applicant is not interested in the crematory right now, to add that as a condition, and add the cemetery also as a condition.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Yes, sir. Item A2, I make a motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance number 2101, amending Chapter 22, Article 5, Regulation of Timber Harvesting, with the effective date being the day after adoption.
A second?
Johnson, you want to, or Glenn?
I can answer that.
Would you bring us up to speed with what this-
Absolutely. So recently, the state made changes to the timber harvesting requirements, and this is just updating our ordinance to be in compliance with the state. Probably the two biggest changes is that it will require an online application through the state, and it requires a bond specifically for road repair.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Good, can I get Paul to come up and maybe Paul at the same time, and you can kind of give us a little timeline or something like this, and then we'll bring the applicant up and let him.
All right. I'll start back in the earlier part, back in 2018, when the alcohol beverage license was issued, was applied for and issued to Chastity Gregg. This was alcohol license that they had obtained at that time. And most recently, in March of this year, we received the excise taxes for the months of October and November. And those excise taxes were signed by Mr. Scott Odom, Mr. Scott Brown, who is as the owner of the End Zone Bar and Grill. At that time, we contacted Code Enforcement Office and had them go out and check into this as to why the owner was listed as Scott Brown, since he was not listed on the alcohol license. We continued checking on that. Miss Chastity Gregg, who's the alcohol license in her name, she said she had not been at the business since October, the end of October, like October 31st.
Had the license been first of the year? Who renewed that license at that?
In talking with Ms. Gregg, like I said, she stated that since October 31st, she had not been on site. She had no longer been part of that. But they had an agreement that she would stay on the, hold the alcohol license. The operation would continue on as with her on the license. During this time, we'd also found out some incidences that happened out at the End Zone Bar and Grill, where we had several reports from the sheriff's office that states that Mr. Brown, being the owner of the property, and Ms. Gregg had only ownership of like 10% of the property, or in 10% of the business at the time. Moving forward, Ms. Odom, Ms. Crystal Odom, she had come in on April the 2nd and applied for the alcohol beverage license. At that time, she had provided us with the information that she needed to do so. During the process of processing this license, this application, we felt like that she was a surrogate for the license, and that she could not hold it because of that, because she is the daughter-in-law to Mr. Scott Brown. And moving forward, like I said, we moved our application or our agenda onto the agenda last week of our request for denial of this license based on the fact of the documents that we had, the notifications we had that Ms. Odom was a surrogate for that license. Therefore, we still stand that we did have, after our meeting here, the committee meeting last Tuesday, we sat down with Ms. Odom in our office, spoke with her and told her we need a document that states 100% of the ownership is in her name. She owns 100%. Mr. Scott Brown would no longer have any dealings with that. They did provide us with a asset purchase agreement, and on that agreement, it reads pretty lengthy, but the question I have is it's the signatures that are on that document. Daniel Scott Brown does not match any of the notarized documents we have, where we have notarized in our office. They do not match. So our recommendation is still for denial at this point.
Paul, do you have anything to add? Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Scarberry. Could the applicant come forward, please, and state your name and address for the record?
Odom, my address is 998 Carling Drive, Harlem, Georgia. Okay, so what he was saying, most is true what he was saying. I have been the one who have been operating the business from time to time. Chastity was coming in, then she would go back to Big Daddy's, then she worked over at Sweet 10. Her and Scott's agreement was he was to own 90%, which is the furnishings. All of the equipment, all of everything inside of this building belongs to him, because originally he was going to be the one opening it. I don't know what happened at that point that he didn't, and then she did, and he continued to let her take on all of his stuff that he had already done. Her and him had a volatile relationship. I don't know, I wasn't here during that part, and then I came in and I took over management of the restaurant. Me and his son are going to be getting married come August. I will be his daughter-in-law. I swear to you, I am not a surrogate. I want to own this place, him have nothing to do with it. So I had my lawyer, they advised me to get one. I spent another $1,000 to get a lawyer when I'm now almost on zero, to make sure that he is not going to have anything to do with this. And as for the signature, the squiggly mark that everyone's referring to, the squiggly mark is Jamie. Jamie is the one who signs all paychecks. She is my manager. She does all of the pays for everything. She is the one who does the squiggly mark because, You know, she's been working there for 2 years. She's the one who pays for everything. As for the tax thing, Ashley Weber is the one who does taxes for Scott and for Chastity. She was the one who made the mistake and signed Scott's name. Again, another squiggly mark. Scott's real signature is this. The squiggly mark is not his. Squiggly mark is everyone else who's been operating this business because Chastity and Scott have acted like 4-year-olds and have left it up to us to do it. And I want to purchase this. I have been there this whole time.
Was signing for Mr. Brown as the owner? She was
Ashley Weber, the one who does the taxes, signs that. I guess, I don't know. I don't know that part.
Isn't
I
that-
know that she is the one who
that
signed
a
it.
signature that has to be notarized?
A notarized signature?
This is the only one that's been notarized that I made sure was notarized, this one. I had him go to Travers' office and sign this in front of Travers and Holly.
Wait. So you're saying that he went to the attorney's office and signed it, and the
Yep.
attorney is the one that notarized it?
Yep.
But he signed as a squiggly line instead of his
Nope,
regular
he
signature.
signed this one, his real whole name, like he should have been doing to begin with. But the squiggly mark is everyone else trying to continue as daily operations and sign checks and just continue with daily operations. Ashley Weber, I'm not sure how she signed it, but when all of this got brought to me and I was afraid that everyone was going to be without a job during all of this crazy mess, she told me that she contacted them and told them that she made the mistake. So I'm just trying to clean up the mess and get this in my name so that I can continue and everybody can have a job and we can just move on legally and do the right thing by
Well,
everybody.
last Tuesday morning, when you were in front of us, somebody said something about you being his niece, and you said emphatically, "I am not related to him.
I am not.
I'm not related to
I
him
am
in
not.
any way." But
Come August 3rd, I'm going to be married to his son.
But you didn't disclose that. I mean, so technically, it wasn't just a. That's part. We weren't related, but you didn't disclose that.
Well, I apologize. I was nervous. If I felt like I was being evasive to you, I really apologize. I was very upset. I am not married, like related to him. If like I don't know what to say. Like I'm not related to him whatsoever, and I would not. If you know anything about my character, I would not be doing any of this or do anything to break the law or ruin my character. I hold my character at a very high standard, and anybody who personally knows me can tell you that.
Who owns the property out there?
Kathy, she owns the property. Her and her husband, like I said, they just came
Who is the lease?
last month. The lease is actually in Chastity's name, but it's being turned over into my name once everything is cleared here. So tomorrow, me and her have a meeting for it to be put in my name, but I just had to wait until, I get this all handled, this mess that they've made it. And they advised me that I was going to be fixing this mess, and that's what I've worked diligently this whole week into doing. I would not have continued to order stuff and spend all of my savings, every penny that I have, if these ladies had told me that there was no chance. Like, I felt as if I was doing what was right, and I told them, I will jump through whatever hoop you need me to do whatever, and this is what they've told me, and I thought I was rectifying the situation. I've called them every single day, 5-6 times a day, come to their office 2 or 3 times a day, trying just to make sure that this is handled.
Understand. So the lease, not with Mr. Brown,
No,
property,
he has nothing to do with it. He doesn't want anything to do with it.
but he owns all the
And
equipment.
and I can assure you, every single police report of those, he was not there. I can guarantee you probably, maybe I'm overspeaking, 75%. I could almost guarantee 75%. He was not even there when those police reports were made. And anytime you sell liquor, you know people gonna act crazy. It was not him on those police reports. Those were customers. And-
That's what we're concerned.
And the last,
Establishments that
and the,
crazy.
yes, sir, and the last time there was a police report made there, it was 3 police officers that were Columbia County police officers, so, who were in a scuffle. We try to, like I said, if I see something like that, I go ahead and I call the authorities. We do not let people overdrink, you know. We've done a lot for the community as well, like with charity events. We were on the news just back in November during the COVID, where the guy had COVID. We put him in a hotel and gave him a job, you know, we do a lot of things. I do a lot of things, and for the community, I understand that they've made a mess, and I apologize for that, but I'm being judged upon them, what they've done, and I haven't even been given a fair chance, and I'm the one that's doing every single thing that I've been asked, and I'm begging you to please give me a chance.
There, Mr. Brown here?
I've invited him to come, and him nor Chastity would like to take that invitation.
Beyonce here?
I'm sorry?
Beyonce.
Yes, his son.
Yeah.
My manager, my sister, she's also, Ashley Weber will not be my accountant with the mess up. This will be my accountant. Like, I've tried to rectify every wrongdoing that they have done to where I have people who are going to be responsible and in place and make sure that does not happen again.
Any more questions?
I can't quite get past the marriage thing. I'm seeing some of the notes here that there was a concern that you actually were already married to Mr. Brown.
August 3rd, we will be getting married in our front yard. We're having a whole ceremony in our yard. It's my cousin Tim Price will be officiating the marriage. I've tried to prove everything and do everything that I possibly can for you guys. At this time, I'm also dealing with my son, who is a runaway, and I am diligently doing every single thing. And at this time, talking to investigators and coming in here and doing whatever I need to do. I'm still begging you. I'm at your mercy.
I understand.
And
I need to
I
be
just don't know
comfortable
what
with
else I
whether
can
you
do.
told us the truth last week about whether you're married. I'm told that there's a certified copy of a marriage license for Crystal and Daniel Brown, that you got married in August 2020. Is that true?
2020? No, we
August
are getting
2020.
married August 3rd of this year in a few months here in our yard.
Mr. Scarborough, we have a copy of,
We filed at the Appleton Courthouse for us to be getting married. We filed then. He was going through some child custody issues. Like I said, we are trying to do the right thing in every situation, and
is there any more questions?
I want to get to the bottom of
I mean, if you guys don't
Legacy thing
want me to
is-
have it, then I would.
Well, we want you to have it. That's why
I'm
instead of telling you
trying
no the other day, that's why we said to give you a chance to
And
push it forward.
That
And
was why I even spent more money.
There's a marriage license here signed by Judge Alice Padgett for Daniel Scott Brown and Crystal Lynn Odom. Is that you?
Yes, and we will be getting married August 3rd, like I told you.
This was recorded in 2020.
We have not gotten married yet. We have not had our ceremony.
But you got the application?
We haven't
File for
gotten,
your,
yes, we have filed and everything. We have not gotten married yet or had our ceremony.
I'm okay with
But
that,
it's-
thank you.
Send that over to Chris.
It's dated
far as
2021. It was four back then, but Alice signed it in 2021, I think. Her name.
Well, she certified the copy in 2020.
Oh, that's when the certified, okay.
We have not gotten married yet, no, sir. We were trying to handle his child custody issues so they would be able to be a part of our wedding.
license stating that they were married, whether they,
That means they're legally married. Maybe not a religious ceremony, but I'm not a marriage attorney.
Well, we have not had our ceremony or anything yet. We haven't proceeded to do so yet. We've only filed to be married.
Says they're married.
So there may have been a problem with the paperwork, but legally you're married.
Well, like I said,
Whether you had a ceremony or not, legally you're married.
okay, well,
Uh,
that's something I guess
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Can I get a motion?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to deny the alcohol license.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Other comments? All in favor of denying the application, raise your right hand. 9-4-0. Okay. Mr. Driver, do we have any legal matters tonight?
We do not.
Any public comment? All right, no executive session items, so
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we adjourn.
can we get a second to that?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned. Thank you.